Hey there, Nick Powles, publisher of 1851franchise.com and Chief Growth Officer of the Growth Club, here to give you the 5 burning questions to ask a franchise broker, a franchise coach, or a franchise consultant if you choose to work with them. Now, for you, you've obviously, when you're getting to the starting line, you've made the decision that you want to potentially buy a franchise. And so you say, okay, how can I get some help? Well, so here are the questions that you want to ask. You've reached out to a franchise consultant, whether it's someone in the Growth Club or that's another consultant, and there's many great ones out there. Question 1, how do you get paid? Ask that question because you want to see and test the transparency of the franchise broker. If they say, you pay me nothing, somewhat true, but you got to understand how the money switches hands. It goes from you to the franchisor. This is how you pay for a franchise fee. And from that fee, majority of consultants take a percentage of that fee that you just paid. So you indeed do pay to buy that franchise, and you do pay a commission back to the consultant. Many franchisors are very transparent about this. It's the cost of acquisition. There should be a cost to acquire you as a buyer. They understand that the franchise consultant, if they are honest and transparent, they're going to tell you, this is how I buy. So understand that when you ask the question, how do you get paid? They get paid by you. It's just a matter of the check went over here and the check came back over to them. So that's number 1. Number 2, does any brand pay you more? That's an important question because I've talked with franchisees who were trying to be persuaded to buy a brand that didn't align to their passions, their financial situation, or the outcomes that they desired. And the reason they were being led to other brands is because those brands paid higher commission. At Growth Club, all of our brands pay exactly the same. But in other groups, some brands will pay more to incentivize a consultant or coach to talk you into talking to them. So understand that's how this works. There's no bullshit behind that one. How do I know that you will guide me in my best interest? Now, this is a trust question. You got to feel it. And I've said this many times before. Your most important tools in this process are your head, your heart, and your gut. And that's what you have to rely on. Do you really feel this person that is telling that they're going to coach, especially if they were transparent on question 1 and 2, this is great. But do you really trust that they're going to guide you to the brand that aligns to what you want to do and what your outcome should be? Question number 4 is, what if I want a brand that's not in your inventory? In a brokerage, there's inventory. Same with home real estate sellers. Like, they have an inventory of homes that they're trying to move, but they're able to access homes that they're not moving when they're showing you. And they're obviously, there's a lot of transparency in the fees and how that stuff works. But what if there's a brand in the inventory, not in the inventory, that you are interested in? What happens? Now, at Growth Club, we're going to continue to guide you and coach you, whether the brand pays us a commission or not. Some brokerages will say, no, they have to be in our inventory for us to sell. That doesn't mean you can't go away from that broker and go talk with brands on your own. I would actually encourage that. Like, once you start learning the way that the process works, go do it on your own. And the final question, number 5, will you tell me why not? If I'm really going to coach you, I'm going to tell you what the potential risks or gaps are as I see them. Now, franchise coach, consultant, broker, they're not selling you the franchise. Ultimately, the franchisor is selling you the franchise. But if you're really going to be a good coach, you need to tell people the blind spots. And so if we're like, hey, you don't like dogs, don't buy a dog franchise, that would be fair advice. Or you don't like donuts, don't buy a donut franchise. Ask that last question, because if they are willing to tell you why not, then they're probably the right person to help guide you on this journey to buying a franchise. If you need more help, go to 1851franchise.com, click on Growth Club, look at the brands, reach out to us. We'd be glad to tell you how things work. No obligation to even work with us. We're just here to educate you on how franchise